Imagine yourself and 6 of your best friends enjoying a vacation at a luxurious villa in Cabo. It would seem like the perfect paradise, but what could go wrong? At 25 years old, Keller Robinson seemed to have everything one could dream of. This young and ambitious entrepreneur from Charlotte, North Carolina, had single-handedly built a successful business, pouring her heart and soul into it. Her talent for braiding hair was so exceptional that parents entrusted her with their most precious assets, their children's confidence and joy. Shane's gentle hands brought happy smiles to young clients throughout the city. Friends adored her infectious laughter, and her family was proud of her determination and zest for life. So when 6 friends proposed celebrating a birthday in Cabo San Lucas in October 2022, the invitation seemed perfect. Shane packed her bags with enthusiasm, anticipating unforgettable experiences. On October 28, 2022, the group of friends checked into a luxurious Airbnb, a villa that promised everything necessary for the ideal getaway. Spacious rooms filled with joyful laughter as the 7 friends embarked on what was supposed to be a wonderful celebration. But on the very first day, something went wrong. Just hours after arriving, Keller Robinson was found unconscious in the living room. Horrified friends urgently called the local ambulance. However, when the medics arrived, they discovered a young woman for whom a return home to Charlotte would never happen. The celebration had turned into a tragedy. The story told by Shane's companions seemed consistent. According to them, the girl had drunk too much alcohol the night before and got poisoned. They painted a picture of a friend who had simply overindulged during the vacation. But was alcohol really the sole cause of her death? Salamandra Robinson, Shane's mother, received that terrible call every parent dreads. Her daughter was gone. The woman who had spoken with her daughter just hours earlier and heard about the wonderful vacation now had to come to terms with an unimaginable loss. "I told her we would talk tomorrow," Salamandra later recalled. She would never hear her daughter's voice again. Shane's friends returned to the USA, bringing her suitcases with them. They insisted on the alcohol poisoning version. At first, the Mexican authorities seemed to accept this explanation, as the initial death certificate listed complications from alcohol as the cause of the tragedy. But documents often tell a different story than words. When Keller's official death certificate arrived from Mexico, it contained information that contradicted the initial reports. The cause of death was listed as serious injuries to the neck area, damage to the cervical vertebrae. The document also noted that the girl was found unconscious, and her death was classified as an accident or. The most chilling detail was that no more than 15 minutes had passed between the injuries and death. How could a person suffering from alcohol intoxication sustain such severe neck injuries? Mexican investigators asked themselves the same question. The course of the investigation took a sharp turn when Keller's death was reclassified as a suicide due to gender-based violence. In November 2022, an arrest warrant was issued for one of the girl's companions. The friend's version of a tragic incident underwent thorough scrutiny. And then the video emerged. But that was just the beginning. A few weeks later, disturbing video recordings began circulating on the internet. The haunting footage seemed to capture the interior of that very villa. Viewers witnessed events that raised serious questions about what exactly had happened that night. Shane's father, Bernard Robinson, confirmed the shocking truth about what he saw in the video involving his daughter. These images provoked questions that demanded answers. Who filmed this incident? Why did no one intervene? How many people actually saw what happened? According to FBI reports released in February 2025, Shane's friends provided investigators with a different version of events. They claimed that the girl, while intoxicated, hit her head on the toilet. Someone allegedly tried to obtain surveillance camera footage from the house and contacted the Mexican police. But when images of Keller's body appeared, eyewitnesses reported alarming injuries. One person allegedly remarked that it looked as if someone had stomped on the girl. So what really happened at that villa? These details indicated something far worse than simple alcohol poisoning. The investigation revealed disturbing facts. The doctor who spent several hours at the villa after the ambulance was called repeatedly urged Shane's friends to take her to the hospital immediately. But they allegedly refused these recommendations until it was too late. When the girl was finally transported to a medical facility, precious time had been wasted. Experts who later analyzed the case noticed the suspicious timeline of events. Friends claimed that Shane had drunk too much alcohol, but according to Mexican authorities, only 15 minutes had passed between the injury and death. Such a rapid deterioration was more indicative of acute trauma than gradual alcohol poisoning. How could 6 people tell the same story in unison, even under pressure? The lawsuit filed by Shane's mother states that her friends were not fully honest with medical staff and police in Mexico. They left the country a day earlier than originally planned. They departed without providing complete information to Mexican investigators. They took Shane's belongings with them to the USA, leaving many questions unanswered. The case took another unexpected turn when Shane Keller's body underwent a second autopsy in Charlotte, North Carolina. The autopsy from November 17, 2022, showed results that contradicted the neck injuries mentioned in the Mexican death certificate. The girl's spine was found to be intact. Instead, the medical examiner discovered significant injuries that affected brain function and blood circulation. The official cause of death was listed as undetermined. 2 autopsies. 2 different versions. The truth seemed to become even more elusive. In April 2023, after a lengthy investigation, U.S. federal prosecutors delivered terrible news to Shane's family. Despite video evidence, eyewitness testimonies, and expert findings, they concluded that the available evidence was insufficient to bring federal charges. This decision left the Robinson family feeling that the justice system they had relied on had let them down. This case demonstrates the difficulties families face in seeking the truth, noted family attorney Sue N. Robinson at a press conference. But this is not the end of the story. Salamandra Robinson was not about to let her daughter's death get lost in the maze of the legal system. In October 2024, 2 years after losing Shane, she filed a massive civil lawsuit. The defendants included the 6 companions of the girl, now known as the Cabo Six, as well as the FBI and the U.S. Department of State. Shane's mother demanded damages in excess of $25,000 from each defendant. This lawsuit contains the most detailed description to date of what allegedly happened at the villa in Cabo. According to court documents, one of the trip participants, who later officially changed her name from Dejani Jackson to Amani Green, is accused of physical confrontation with Shane Keller Robinson. The lawsuit claims that during the incident, Shane was in a helpless state. The most disturbing moment is the allegation that the girl's friends shared footage of the event on the internet and even made a video call so that someone could observe everything remotely. And after the incident, as stated in the civil complaint, no one even tried to comfort Shane or help her with her injuries. Why would someone decide to officially change their name after such an incident? The civil process itself proved to be challenging. The defendants' attorneys argue that the case should be heard in Mexico, where everything took place, rather than in American courts, even though all the participants now reside in the USA. The Robinson family's representative disagrees, emphasizing that U.S. citizens should not have the ability to go abroad, harm a fellow citizen, then return home and claim they are outside the jurisdiction of American justice. As of 2025, the legal battle is still ongoing. No criminal charges have been filed in the United States. The arrest warrant issued in Mexico remains unexecuted. The 6 individuals who accompanied Shane Keller Robinson on vacation have yet to provide public explanations about the events at the villa. What transformed a birthday celebration into a tragedy that spanned multiple countries and legal systems? Evidence points to a certain pattern of behavior that began to form in the critical hours after Shane Keller's collapse. Instead of immediate openness with medical staff and law enforcement, the girl's companions voiced a version of events that significantly diverged from the evidence later discovered. They consistently stuck to this story during numerous interrogations by authorities, family members, and the media. But video recordings capture real events. Medical evidence speaks for itself. And the discrepancies in their testimonies raised questions that demand answers. Today, Bernard Robinson continues his search for the truth. These 6 people are still free, they continue to remain silent, even though they know why they witnessed what they did there at that villa, he recently noted. His pain is felt in every public appearance, every court document, every interview where he tirelessly repeats the same plea, "I just want justice." This case has raised alarming questions about how the American authorities respond to incidents involving U.S. citizens abroad. Why did the FBI delay conducting interviews for months? How could delays have affected the preservation of critical evidence? Is the justice system capable of adequately handling cases that cross national borders? For Salamandra Robinson, these systemic issues fade into the background compared to the personal loss that defines her every day since that tragic night. She experiences anxiety, depression, and emotional pain that no parent should have to endure. Her lawsuit describes a mother who lost not only her daughter but also her faith in the institutions meant to protect American citizens. 6 people continue to live their lives while the Shankila family fights an exhausting battle in civil court, demanding justice. Imani Green, formerly Dejani Jackson, changed her legal name after the incident, a detail that raises questions about the circumstances of the tragedy. The other 5 defendants mostly remain silent, backed by attorneys and prosecutorial decisions that shield them from criminal liability. This is what happens when the pursuit of justice becomes a marathon rather than a sprint. The experience of the Robinson family suggests that true accountability sometimes requires years of persistence and resistance to institutional opposition. They organized marches, held press conferences, and filed numerous lawsuits. They endured intense media scrutiny, legal setbacks, and the draining process of keeping their daughter's case in the public consciousness. Their efforts highlighted safety issues for citizens traveling abroad. This case raised awareness about the importance of thorough investigation of international incidents. As the legal proceedings continue, the memory of Shankila Robinson lives on through the unwavering determination of her family and the community she faithfully served with her entrepreneurial activities. She brought confidence and joy to the children who sat in her chair. Her death has become a symbol of the fight for truth that transcends borders and legal systems. The luxurious villa in Cabo has likely hosted other celebrations since that fateful night. New groups of friends have probably laughed in those same rooms, splashed in the endless pool, and admired Mexican sunsets from those same windows. But for one family in Charlotte, North Carolina, this villa will forever remain the place where their daughter took her last breath. The question that haunts this case is not just about what happened to Shankila Robinson. It's about why the truth remained so elusive for so long and whether delayed justice is truly equivalent to a denial of justice. Her story continues to unfold in courtrooms and on the pages of legal documents, but the young woman who braided hair and built dreams will never know how it ends. Some secrets are revealed quickly. Others require years of perseverance to uncover what should have been obvious from the start. The tragedy of Shankila Robinson belongs to the latter category, a case where the search for truth proved to be as tangled as the circumstances themselves. In the end, perhaps this is what her family fights for the most, the simple acknowledgement that Shankila Robinson deserved better than the silence that enveloped her death and that her life held enough meaning to demand honest answers about how it was cut short. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time, friends.